Paul Brown said to me, son, act like you've been there before. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I just barely got on the field. I hadn't been there before. So
I'm glad to be part of that trend. You know, sun's out, guns out.
How about Isaac Curtis on one side, Charlie Joyner on the other side? A lot of quarterbacks were very envious that I had those two weapons to throw to. But
now, wait a minute. Is it fair that Pat McInally is still the sexiest guy on our team? Is that?
you got me there. You got me good.
Donald, how you gonna be in that video not represent with a chain and your tango, man? I got mine on. I'm ready to go.
Oh, that's great. That's priceless.
There are two guys that I think it's a travesty that are not in that Hall of Fame.
Ken Riley and Ken Anderson. Yeah, sure.
Put the backdrop on, Jamie. See if Marissa's okay with it.
Yeah, I got her backdrop. Starting the Canadian fan club up here for you.
That is so funny.
My last touchdown, and that's what Joe Burrow's going to end up like if they don't start protecting his ass. It's going to be the next David Klingler, David Klingler stuff.
There's no Spanish-speaking people here, very few. So we, fast forward, we go to the Super Bowl in Miami, and the word was the Bengals have two big Mexican offensive linemen. They don't know how to speak Spanish. So I got down there and started doing these interviews in Spanish, and they're like, "Wait, we heard you don't speak Spanish."
What's going on, fellas? What's going on? But I got on the plane one day in an all-red Suge Knight suit. And boy, Joe Walters and the linemen, they destroyed me. I thought for sure I was so clean. I had some gaiters on, all red suit on. I was Suge Knight. They roasted me.
The head coach was the pain in the butt. The Jerry Glenn, he would thought he was. If you didn't know who he was, he walked out there like he owned his state. And I always say, if I could get a chance to hit him on the sideline, I would.
I'm tackling your ass, Pete. I'm shoestring low on you.
But I got to tell you, you would have been stepped on, son. You would have had cleats everywhere.
Well, I'm proud to be a Bengal. Yes, I'm proud to be a Bengal always been. I got nothing from you guys.
Welcome, everybody, to, I guess it's the AFC Championship edition of Talking Football with Bengal Jim and Friends. Guys, another packed episode tonight. Got a lot of people in the waiting room right now. Guys, I guess what we want to do here, got my cigar ready right here. Got my bourbon ready. We got some Willet. James, that's a good bottle right there, right?
Yeah, nothing wrong with that right there. Good rye.
So we got Mr. Jeff Ruby in the waiting room, and I can see him in the waiting room right now smoking a cigar. I think he has a thing of bourbon in it. His glass isn't as cool as mine. I'll tell you that right now. But we got a lot of stuff to get through tonight. Let's go ahead and open it up tonight, James, and let's bring in an absolute Cincinnati legend in the city. This guy is tied to the Bengals as much as any player that's played for this team in Bengals history. This guy is an awesome guy, very big locally in in charities here in Cincinnati. And I travel across the country for my job. And everybody wants them to take me to their best steakhouses and where they're at in their city. And not one steakhouse comes close to Jeff Ruby Steakhouses here in Cincinnati. The Precinct is my favorite location. If you haven't been, you got to go. But let's go ahead and bring on the show here, Jamie or Jackson Mahomes. Let's go ahead and bring in Jeff Ruby. Welcome, Jeff. How you doing, buddy?
Will you be my agent from now on and forget this?
Oh, yeah. My wife will like this in the damn house here, Jeff. So I'm going to act like I'm smoking.
But well, so far this thing that stuck out to me was Reggie Williams' shirt. I love this shirt.
That was funny. That was some.
And I just text Chris. I said, "Oh, you're on the show too." I wouldn't have done it,
Well, Jeff, we appreciate you joining us. We're coming off a exciting weekend in Nashville. So exciting and certainly not planned. You decided last minute, hey,
we're going to halt the remodel on our gorgeous restaurant in Nashville. Tell us about last weekend, the buzz, and how much fun it was to be part of that.
I just told that to our general contractor with Turner Construction, who's doing the new restaurant for us. I'm sitting, whatever day it was, the 15th, I think 16th. I'm sitting in the restaurant at the Waldorf Astoria in Park City, Utah, having breakfast. And the guy tweets a picture, and please reconsider and please open for the Bengals in Nashville, your restaurant, so we have a safe place to be in Nashville. Like if he eats at a non-Jeff Ruby restaurant, they're going to attack him because they're from Cincinnati. So I see this. He's got a picture of the Music City Room in Nashville. He's got the Open Table review, 4,800 and some people review. That's a lot of reviews. 5 stars, which I didn't know we had. That was good to find out. And then on the bottom, it's sorry, for the inconvenience. We're not going to be open, remodeling, and blah, blah, blah. I said, oh, shit. I said something else, And I'm trying to eat breakfast. So I tweet him totally, without doing any research or homework. I didn't know we were close. I forgot. I said, we will not let you down. Well, that thing went crazy. We will not let you down. And Ken Panolfi from the Inquirer makes it a story in the Inquirer. His tweet, my tweet, we will not. Jeff Ruby is providing a safe place. He's quoting that guy, and we will not let you down, my quote. And I text my GM. I said, what the F is going on over there? And he's a great GM. He said, well, we're remodeling. I said, well, we can't remodel. He said, Mr. Ruby, we made this decision. I said, listen, I guess it slipped my mind back then when we talked about it, whether or not Nashville would be in the playoffs. Bengals would be in the playoffs. I think Nashville locked it up a lot sooner. But you live there, you go to the Titans games, you watch TV, the Titans eat there. Didn't you have any feeling that maybe there might be a playoff game since they're already the number 1 seed? So we got into it a little bit. I said, well, we got open. He says, we can't. I got 8. I can only find 8 employees. Everyone was given the time off. They've made vacation plans and whatever, we can't do it. I just tweeted 76,000 people, we will not let you down. And this guy's letting me down. I said, well, we got other restaurants. I don't care if we can get Ultimate Jet, get 30 of them on that. I got a bus that'll handle 10 people. We can bring them from Louisville, which is a little closer, or I don't care if they come from Columbus, 3 in Cincinnati, Lexington. We are going to use our other employees and get this going. And he gave me all the reasons why we can't. And then some other lady said, when do you think you'll open? I said, I don't know yet. I'm getting all these tweets. So then I go in the lobby with my daughter, and I told her what's going on. And I said, Brittany, you and I, we forgot or something. I don't know. I said, Steve says, well, he wasn't. I told him, you're in that too. He said, no, I wasn't in that decision. I don't decide when we're going to renovate restaurants. I said, you pushed it back 2 weeks from early January to late January because you said you have private parties booked. So what do you mean you have no input? You should also said, by the way, there might be playoff games here. And who knows, even the Bengals might show up. So anyway, we got all that fixed. And he did a job. He got everybody. I said, pay them extra money. Pay them extra. Pay them whatever. We'll fly them in. We'll put them in hotel rooms. We'll lose money. But I'd rather lose money and not be so humiliated, embarrassed, and look so stupid and unprofessional. I'd rather lose money. We'll put them up at the hotels, put them at the Omni, and we'll fly them in. And for the weekend, that's a lot because those hotel rooms are expensive in Nashville, especially then. We got it fixed, and then everybody. So I decided to go. I didn't care if I went to the game. I wanted to be there in the restaurant Friday, and I was sick all day. So my daughter and my son left on our bus, and left in the morning. I said I can't make it. I'm sick. I don't feel good. And around 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock at night, she says, "How you feeling, Dad?" I said, "A lot better." She said, "You want to come?" I said, "How am I going to be there tonight by 8 o'clock? I mean, I know we gain an hour or 7 o'clock, you know." Long story short, I took a private jet by myself. That's expensive. And I got there and I walked into that restaurant, and the first table was like a table in the bar of 20 people, a big party on high top tables. I walked in the door and they start going nuts over me, cheering my name. I walked in the first time I said to these people, I says, "I've never felt so important in all my life." They were just everybody in that restaurant was from Cincinnati. And they all knew me. And every one of them thanked me for opening for them. I never took so many photos. I never signed so many menus. It was the greatest guest relay. It was worth every penny for that plane. Saturday, I got sick again. Never even went to the game. I couldn't go to the tailgate party that my daughter went to. I watched it, and I started to watch it in our restaurant in a private room with Caleb Miller, my son-in-law, who's a former Bengal linebacker, and my daughter, and a pastor friend of his, and a few other people. And then I went into my bus and watched the rest of it in the bus across the street. So I never went to the game. I came back Sunday. I slept the whole way back. My doctor called in prescriptions in some pharmacy in Nashville, and I came back Sunday, and I'm better again. So all of that happened, and all because of a tweet that I got at the park in Park City. Thank God the guy tweeted.
Jeff, if that ever happens again, you need employees. We will be there in a heartbeat, brother.
You're going to wait on tables?
We will wait on tables. I'll bust tables, whatever you need, brother. We got your back.
Yeah, not during the game.
My one son, Brandon, said, "Dad, it isn't going to work. The employees at our other restaurants will not give good service there. They don't know that menu. They don't know the POS system." I said, "Listen, they know our culture. They know how we treat our guests. The menu has a lot of the same items. These are not people coming from Applebee's where you work for us. They know us, okay? And even if they were coming from a great fine dining restaurant, that would be difficult anyway for them. It's all new, and we're doing it." So I had a fight with him too a little bit. But it all worked out actually better. It took a negative to a positive. We had good sales. We paid bonuses, but we didn't have to put up too many people in hotels, and we didn't have to fly anybody. And the Bengals win. And that, it was unbelievable. But I see some old friends and see Pat and of course Chris and Reggie and Willie Anderson and Icky. Oh man, it was good just to see these guys on the show just now. I didn't know they were going to be on there. And so what, just fire away if you wanted to ask me anything. I know you have some questions.
We got some questions for you.
You probably don't have any time left for that.
Actually, Jeff, we're here as long as you want to be, brother, but we'll respect your time. But I guess wanted to start off, man. Talk about how this all started in 1981. The precinct opened. I remember on our Super Bowl show that little clip you saw, Chris Collinsworth made a comment, and Pat McAnally made a comment that the best thing that happened in Cincinnati when they won a game, they had a place to go. They had a place to go at the precinct after they won games. So talk about how all this started with your Bengal relationships.
It's funny how it's just like nothing's changed. Just a year. It was 81. We opened in September of 81, 9/11. And of course, that's the start of football season. It just happened to be Chris's rookie year. He was hanging out at the precinct. We had a nightclub up there. He was single and young. And the Bengals always hung out there because it was the place. There was a great steakhouse downstairs, and upstairs was a discotheque, and everybody came up there. I mean, the Oakland Raiders. I remember Dave Casper coming. All these teams, Sylvester Stallone, you name it, they were up there. John McEnroe, whoever it was, came to that place, and but it was also the year the Bengals went to their first Super Bowl. It was the year we opened CBS. Had banners up there, their yellow and blue banner. Pete Rose and Johnny Bench, were my partners. They made the place possible for me. So they were up there. So CBS was cutting in live to interview them and reaction to the game and all. And it became a CBS cut-in during the game. The place was packed, but it was the home of the Bengals, and it was in '81. And now the precinct this past year is where Zach Taylor brought all these recruits to try to impress them and to convince them to sign with the Bengals. One of them I knew because I met him in Minnesota when he was a Viking, Reef Riley, and Mike Zimmer had me there, and I met him back then. But I didn't know any of the others. But then he had Joe Burrow sitting at a table, and Sam Hubbard, and then upstairs Lou had the defense, and I went upstairs and I talked to, and that's where they recruited all these guys. And I remember at Jeff Ruby's downtown, right below me, coach is bringing in Davian Cook, the running back from Florida State, right?
Yeah.
And I said, Davian, you're better than Leonard Fournette, in my opinion. And he followed me on Twitter, and he's followed me ever since. He brought in A.J. McCarron to recruit him there, and we follow each other. But they brought some recruits there at Ruby's. But and then the precinct is where they're bringing the recruits now, at least the free agents. The college guys that they're thinking of drafting, they brought to Jeff Ruby's. And of course, they went to the Super Bowl in '81. They went to Detroit and just lost to Joe Montana. And it was a close game. I didn't go because I had to be at the precinct. It was so busy. When they went in '89, that was the year, right? Super Bowl of '89, which I guess is the '88 season. By then, Boomer and Chris were partners of mine at the Waterfront, and which I got a funny story if you want to hear it about that. You wanted to know my favorite story of the Bengals. I had to run it by my marketing chief here to see if I should say it or not. Anyway, he said at your own risk. But anyway,
we're not forgetting that, Jeff.
Yeah, that's the one we want to hear for sure.
You know, now '89, Chris is over. I was living in Loveland, and I remember Chris being over my house with Turk Schoner. And I said, I ain't going to this. Too freaking cold. It turned out to be 54 wind chill. It was 54 degrees below. And I said, San Diego has no shot. There will be a cultural shot. They may not even get off the plane. This is going to be a blowout. I'll watch it. I'm not going to freeze myself. You know, so I didn't even go to that game. I went to the one in Miami. That was the AFC Championship. And then I guess that's when they went to Detroit. '89, I went to the Miami Super Bowl. And I stayed at the hotel where the players were, and I went to the game. And this guy did an interview with me earlier today, and he put it in the I just saw in the story on WCPO. So I went with Hanford Dixon, who created the dog pound. And I called the first 2 plays the Bengals ran. I just lucked out. Halftime, I said, Hanford, I'm going down to the locker room. He said, how are you getting in the locker room? I said, you just go in like you're supposed. Don't ask. You just walk in like you want to. You just act like you're supposed to be there. So I did. I said, excuse me, who are you? I said, well, I'm on the medical team. Whatever I said. I got in. Okay? So I get in the locker room. Tim Cromwell broke his leg. And he didn't play the second half. He's laying there on a gurney in a room. And I said, what are you going to do? He said, man, I'd like to watch the second. I said, you ought to watch the second half. He said, there's no TV in here. I went running around there. I said to some worker over there, I said, get this guy a television so he can watch the game. So they got a television. The antennas didn't work. I said, get some tinfoil. And I'm playing with the tinfoil. And I got a reception down there in that tunnel there in Miami, in that stadium. So Tim's could watch the game. I knew Tim, and I felt terrible for him. And there was no touchdown scored by the halftime. Stanford Jennings running out. I'm in the tunnel. And by the way, I got him a cocktail too. I got him something to drink. So Stanford's running out, and I tap him on the butt. I said, come on, Stanford, return this kickoff for a touchdown. And he did.
No.
He did. I'm pretty sure he did.
He did, but I didn't know that's cool. That's cool.
No, and that was the first touchdown, I think, of the game. I know it was the Bengals first. I think it was 3-3 at halftime or something. So years later, I'm watching the replay of that game. And it's been on a few times over the years because they lost in the last 34 seconds. and Montana hit Johnny Taylor for the touchdown. And of course, we didn't have Stanley Wilson. That thing that happened the night before was just horrible. And I love Stanley Wilson. And then we lost Tim Cromrye. And and Stanley was a big part of that offense. So I'm watching this TV, and I'm watching the game, and Dick Enberg, it's the actual rebroadcast 10 years later or something. Well, Tim Cromrye's not in the hospital. He's down in the locker room watching the game on TV. I'm yelling at the TV. I got him that TV. I'm yelling at Dick Enberg on the television. I got him that TV. So that was, and then Boomer calls me up after the game. He says, you and Raquel, my wife, we're going to Aruba. I said, can we go with you? I said, you got the Pro Bowl coming up in a couple. I don't want to go to the Pro Bowl. So they went to Aruba with us. And so that was the 89 experience.
That's great. Hey, so did your marketing people give you the okay to talk about this Waterfront situation? Do you want to go there?
Well,
you don't have to, buddy.
Well, I will. What I guess I failed to say was that that our Nashville team of employees and our management and pulled off an incredible recovery quickly. They all came back to work, and the whole place was Cincinnatians. I went to one table. I stopped and said, hey, how you doing? Is your food good? Everything good? Yeah. So they said to me, two couples, they said, who's going to win the game tomorrow? I didn't want to assume they were from Cincinnati because they didn't act like they knew me. I said, well, where are you from? They said, Nashville. I said, well, the Titans are going to win. Yay. Okay. That was the only table from Nashville. So I lied to one table. And everyone else was Cincinnati, and everyone, like I said, thanked me for opening for them. The employees were incredible. The food was incredible. Everybody did a good job. I went back there, talked to everybody, the dishwashers, everybody. So that's that should be mentioned in this thing, right?
Awesome.
So here we are, in we had just opened the Waterfront in '86 or something. There was a movie that came out called Fresh Horses. And I was going to look it up, and I forgot to look it up. The year that Fresh Horses was released. And so maybe a year before is when they filmed it. A lot of it was filmed in Cincinnati. It had Molly Ringwald and Andrew McCartney. And David Arnspaugh, the director, they all hung out at the Waterfront. And David and I became kind of close. In fact, he wound up directing Hoosiers and Rudy. And great guy. So he asked me to be a featured extra in the movie. I said, fine, which meant nothing. But the Bengals back then, we had that nightclub up there, Laboon. And they were getting in a lot of fights in the nightclub. And, and that's the last thing a bar needs is fights. So then they get in a fight with the crew from Fresh Horses. And I think Fresh Horses won. They got in a big fight. This was an ongoing thing with fights back in '88 or whatever it was. And so I banned the Bengals from the Waterfront. So the Bengals go into the locker room. Somehow it got out. There was no cell phone. There was no Twitter. I don't know how it got out, but I said, you guys are banned. Get out of here. Okay. Brian Blados, 400 pounds, is a good friend of mine. We play cards every Thursday with Boomer and the boys. Big guy. And he was, all these guys were in fights. And so they go to Boomer and they go to Chris. We've been banned from the Waterfront. Your friend, Jeff Ruby. Well, they're owners of the Waterfront. They're investors. They're part owners. So they get on a phone, call me. I said, Jeff, are we included? I know you banned the Bengals. Can't we come to our restaurant now? I said, well, that's a dilemma. How do you have a double standard? That's one of the funnier stories.
That's a good one.
Not everybody could say they had to go through that ordeal.
Talking about the buzz, Jeff, from 88 and 81 to what we see now, how do you compare the two? Because the media this week is great. The buzz is huge right now in Cincinnati and for Bengals fans everywhere. How would you compare the buzz for this playoff run to what we saw in 81, 88 AFC Championship games?
I think it's been so long now. You know, the Bengals had their growing pains. Well, they come in 1968, I think.
Yep.
I got here in 70. I've been a Bengal fan ever since. I've had friends with the Bengals from Virgil Carter to Dave Lewis, the punter. I've had a lot of friends. John Schinner, remember him?
Yeah.
Sure.
Played at Xavier when they had football. So I've always loved the Bengals. I've had I got another funny story. But another fight. But anyway, they were always friends of mine. And then, of course, the precinct. I mean, made the precinct. The Bengals being up there made the precinct. You know, and the fact that Zach Taylor and Lou, they bring their recruits there. I mean, I'm honored, I'm flattered, and I'm grateful that that's where they chose to impress their recruits, to entertain their recruits for a good meal and great service, and to see what Cincinnati is all about. And so I had an owner's suite there for many, many years. But I think now it's been so long, and Joe Burrow, you know, to me, he's Cincinnati's generation to what Joe Namath was with the Jets back there. Joe Namath was that sexy, flamboyant, cool. He was Joe Cool back then. Now you got Joe Cool. They're calling Joe with the glasses. And I looked on some on his website. There's a picture with sunglasses when he was at Louisville. He's cool. And forget the football part. Just he's cool. Plus he's sharp. He's intelligent. He's awake. I've told him once, but your age, your years are above your age, maturity wise. But anyway, so I think, and then you got Joe Namath with the fur coat and the girls and the whole thing. He reminds me of Joe Namath just from that, what he is today compared to Namath back then. So so they come there all the time. And Tyler and T and Joe Mixon and Jamar, they all eat at the restaurant. Burrow, and all the linemen ate with Joe Burrow downstairs a few weeks ago. They all come in, and so it's been going like that since 1981. That's my relationship. Actually, since 1970 when I got here, when I worked for Holiday Inn, and then they came to the Holiday Inn. I worked. So I go back every year, but the first two. I was still in college the first 2 years. I got here after graduating in 70, and I came here, and I've been here ever since. And, you know, Max Montoya's a good friend. It could go on. You know, they're just great guys. And so I'm going to tell you another funny story. So I'm with Holiday Inn, and I'm pretty new. I was 22, I think. And I got here in August of 70. So I'm going with my boss and two other guys. We check out live entertainment because we put live entertainment in the Holiday Inns. So we go to this place called the Red Dog Saloon on Chester Road in Sharonville by the Marriott. Princeton High School is right across the street. So we go in there, check out a band. And I'm sitting in front. There's nobody in there. In fact, it had the swinging doors like saloon doors. And I'm sitting there. And there's this couple dancing. They're the only ones. So you got to be looking at them because they're right in front of you. And we're checking out the band. Guy comes out afterwards. Says, I don't like the way you were looking at my wife. I said, who's your wife? He said, the one I was dancing with. I said, I wasn't looking at your wife. He said, oh, yes, you were. I said, oh, no, I wasn't. So we get into a major fist fight over that. We went out on the front deck out there, the porch, whatever, wood and stuff. And I'm getting in a big fight with him. And his wife is actually got the best of me. She started swinging from behind me with her purse. Purse weighed 25 pounds. Of my neck. I got him. I wrestled in high school. I was undefeated my last year of high school, and I played football. So I just wanted to fight him. It was Bill Peterson, the linebacker of the Bengals. I didn't know. So my boss, Eric Camford, who just hired me out of Cornell, he knew me from playing football there. And one of the reasons he said he hired me back then, I have a jersey, he said, "You're a street fighter." That's what I like about it. Well, he didn't literally, I became what he hired me for, but he didn't mean it that way. So he's friends with Paul Brown. Paul Brown calls Eric Camford. Oh, after that fight, we go back to another place right across from the St. Rita School there's another motel there, whatever it was called. And there was a band there. We got to hear them. I go to the bathroom and I see my face all marked up from that freaking purse. I'm red, I'm bloody. I don't even say that my boss is in the lounge and my other two guys, the other two managers. I walked from that place all the way down that road, all the way down I-75 to the Sharon Road exit, walked at 1 a.m, then walked all the way there down Chester Road and then opened the saloon doors like it's the OK Corral, the old-fashioned saloon doors. It's called the Red Dog Saloon. Looking for this guy because I didn't realize my face was marked up. I want to go at it. Everybody, the only ones in there are the employees. They go, "Oh, God, no. They don't know who I am either." I said, "Where is that guy?" So he left. So apparently, I don't know how they knew because I didn't have a name or anything. Paul Brown calls Eric. They're friends. He said, "Listen, your manager just got in a fight with my linebacker." So I got called in Eric's office about that. So, and that was the end of that story. That was my introduction in 1970. I think it was 1970, my first year.
That's funny. Tom, I think you had something too. That's a funny story, Jeff. Holy shit, that's great.
Jeff, real quick, I mean, you mean so much to the city, as do the Bengals. But in all your years, was there a guy from the Bengals when he walked into one of your restaurants and you were there that the chef just started crying because you knew he could do some damage, that he could eat and eat and eat and not stop? Was there one guy in particular that could really put it away?
All of them. You got Brian Blados. What do you weigh? 380? He weighed 350 before the precinct opened.
I can remember they listed him at 340 one year, and Boomer was laughing on TV. Boomer was laughing on TV and said, 340 plus 50. So.
I remember Boomer called me. I said, "These guys are getting in fights, and you got into it, and Brian Blados is intimidated by you." I said, "He's 370 pounds. How is he intimidated?" He said, "Because you're elected," he said to me. There are no more fights. The Bengals behave. I don't get in fights. And it's all good stuff now. So we had our growing pains too. Of course, I was a young punk too. I was coming out of Jersey. I was just, I didn't have, I don't know who started the fight with Bill Peterson. He accused me of something. I wasn't doing anything with his wife that, you're just dancing there with his wife. He started it. So that was that. But the Bengals, it's a different time now. Plus, we don't have the discos anymore,
Right.
And that whole scene. We got great restaurants, got nice lounges, bars in the restaurant. So there's not that kind of atmosphere where people start drinking and get carried away. So all the Bengals behave. I'm better behaved. The Bengals are better.
Jeff,
I'm better.
Jeff, I don't want to see you in any damn fights. I don't want to see it.
No, I'm too old for that.
Hey, Jeff, we have a video that James wants to play here for you. I want you to see this. You're gonna love this.
I know this isn't your demographic, Jeff, but this is my 9-year-old son, and kind of the story behind it is Jimmy and I were headed to a Syracuse game to start the season in Athens, Ohio. I stopped by Jimmy's house there in Coleraine. My son's in the back seat. We're driving through. "Cannon, what do you want for dinner?" "Jeff Ruby steak." "Well, Cannon, we really don't have time for that as much as we all love a Jeff Ruby steak." So I think he's probably the only 9-year-old that constantly requests it. He's in bed now, but I want to play this video for you real quick, and what he thinks about you and your fine establishment.
Jeff Ruby, I love your steaks, and they're #1 in the world. And please don't tell my mom. And my elf on the shelf gave this to me. Go Bengals!
Wow. What is your son's name?
Cannon's his name. So his elf on the shelf gave him that Jeff Ruby steak seasoning, and
Jim,
you thought he got
you're
like a
fired. Cannon's my agent. You were good for a while.
Jeff, like literally, we're driving in James' trucks. We're in the middle of Athens somewhere. He goes, Dad, can we get a drive-through or get a Jeff Ruby steak? I'm like, that's not how this works, Cannon. That's not how this shit works.
All right. So one more thing, Jeff. We want to be conscious of your time. I know we're way over, but charities are something that are near and dear to your heart. They're something that are near and dear to us. Hopefully at the game Sunday, we're going to go over $50,000 raised. Would you just touch on your charity work with the Jeff Ruby Foundation real quick, please?
Well, number one, I always felt if you're fortunate enough to make pretty good money, you ought to give some of it back to the community that gave it to you in the first place. You know, the only reason I have money to fly in a plane to Nashville, to have a nice house, is because the people in this city made it possible. They're loyal to my restaurant and the employees that work for me, who brought those guests. They're the reason the guests come back. How great the employees we have are. They're family. And so when something happens, when I see a disaster, whether it's an individual, whether it's a reward for somebody that's lost a loved one and the murderer's still on the loose, whether it's putting up a reward, but mostly donations to causes, a lot of causes. I feel that I should get some of my money back to the community for those things. And I'm lucky to be alive. I had a head injury in '87. I was pronounced dead. I told God, I walked out of that hospital. I said, God, you spared me for a reason, and I'm going to give back and do good things, because I wasn't supposed to live. But all of that, then I read somewhere, and we're in the restaurant business, and so we're feeding a lot of wealthy people. It's a discretionary income clientele. And even the people that aren't really wealthy, when they want to come and celebrate, like 1 year or one birthday or something, that's where they come to one of our restaurants. And that's, we love that. And then other people that can afford it eat there more often. And businesses recruit their people there. The Bengals recruit, the colleges recruit. When you want to celebrate something, we just signed a deal, or you want to get married or engagement or our third anniversary, we did all that. But that's all people giving it back to me. But what we found out, and I ran away from home when I was 15, and I raised myself. So I didn't have, and I never knew who my real father was till my senior year of high school. It was somebody else I thought was my father, wasn't. My football coach became my father figure, changed my whole life. I went from F grades my freshman year to straight A's my senior year. I went from being the backup, never playing freshman football, being on the team, the last kid to get the jersey, never playing, to being captain of an undefeated team in Neptune High School, New Jersey. And I went out from wrestling. My sophomore year, didn't win a match, and my senior year, didn't lose a match. All because of one guy. Jeep Bednarik became my father figure. And I get choked up when I think about it. And he became the guy I wanted. I was a loser and loving every minute of it. And then he came into my life, and then I want to impress him. That's a long story, but so listen, I know what it is not having a dad, and I know what it is to have somebody that fills that hole for you. And I've done that for a lot of kids since, because of him and the impact it's had, especially on 5 of those kids. So here's this thing. In the United States of America, Cincinnati, Ohio is number 3, I think, in the country in childhood poverty and hunger. And of all the things, because I started my own foundation years ahead. It was called AHEAD, Adolescent and Higher Education About Drugs. And it was to get into the schools, at the elementary schools. And I went with celebrities, some of the Red Billy Hackett, some of these other guys. And we gave talks at the schools. We had brochures that was used at the universities about why you shouldn't get before you get, it's too late. To get ahead of the drug problem. Because once you got it, it's almost too late. So we did that. But then later it became this childhood poverty thing. So, here we are in the restaurant business, making a lot of money, feeding a lot of wealthy people. And then there's children starving here. And number 3 in the country. No father. So the whole thing evolved into that. And then what we got to do about foster care program. And it all goes hand in hand. And when Joe Burrow, so we have this whole, and we raised a lot of money. We did a lot of fundraisers. I mean, the last one I did, Kid Rock came in, performed Bootsy, had Cool in the Gang, Lee Greenwood, Hicks Brooks of Brooks and Dunn, Urban Meyer came in, Fickle, everybody came in for it. And that's how we got people. And we raised a ton of money. That was to celebrate my, I think, 70th birthday, wasn't it? And so we've done these fundraisers and to support and then we have, we find these other organizations and Caleb is running the foundation and he knows more about all the affiliated components of this, different youth outlets so he's running the foundation and we're distributing the money to that. When I saw Joe Burrow, some of the Columbus, Ohio State kids, one that I'm kind of like an uncle to is a player on the team. And he brought Joe in with a few other Buckeyes in my restaurant in Columbus. That's where I first met Joe. And I told him because I saw what he was doing. And I said, man, we'd all line up and do something like that, and if we can help your foundation. So I started the steak burrow there. He ate it that night. He loved it. I said, well, here's what we want to do. He said, great. And he ate it the night before the game in Nashville. He had it sent to the hotel. And Brent Allen brought it up, and he had one. And so, because it's almost hand in hand. That's for that area, and it's what he's done. And he said it incredibly well in his Heisman acceptance speech. And so we've raised money for that foundation for his Athens, Ohio food bank, I think it is.
Yep.
And by every steak we sell. And so it's important to me to share. It's important to me because of my background, not having a father. I was homeless at 50. I was living under the Asbury Park Boardwalk. And when I ran away from home, I had a white suitcase about this big, as this computer maybe. Everything I owned was in it. I jumped out of the window, my bedroom. I hopped on a Good Humor truck, got a ride to I-35, walked all the way to Asbury Park, stayed the first night at the YMCA, changed my name so my mother wouldn't find me, just checked in some false name. Then I got a rooming house. I slept under the boardwalk. In fact, I watched The Sopranos years later. He walked over my bedroom. That whole crew on the Asbury Park Boardwalk, the scene with the fishes talking, they were over my bedroom. That's exactly because I know the store above there was still there on the corner of the boardwalk there. Finally, this girl's father was a big football fan, and she was a friend of mine, and he had rooming houses. So he rented me a rooming house at a pretty good price, and I lived in a rooming house with 70-some, 80-year-old people. Bathroom down the hall we all shared, and that's where I lived. So my sophomore year, my junior year, my senior year, I ran away from home my sophomore year, and so but under the boardwalk was cold, and all I had was that little white suitcase, and I was literally singing "Under the Boardwalk" by the Drifters, the song, to myself, and "Bye Bye Blackbird" I was saying for some reason. Pack up all my cares and woe. Here I go traveling. Bye bye Blackbird. I relate everything back to everything you do in life, whether you become a senator or a serial killer, goes back to how you were as a child, how you were raised, and how, if you look at the people that commit crimes and what they had when they were children, you could see that comment. So everything goes back to everybody's childhood.
Yeah.
So I could have gone way out the other way. That was the 60s, man. Everybody was protesting LSD. Today it's LSU. Back then it was LSD. Everything was free. Everybody, you had the hippies, you got Asbury, everybody, Charles Manson. You had all of this protesting Vietnam, the counterculture, and I'm living by myself. I had no direction. I could have done anything bad, because I had every excuse to feel sorry. But then Jeep Bednarik, my football coach, Chuck Bednarik's brother, the former Eagle, NFL Hall of Famer, he took me under his wing, and I straightened out. And I got my grades up. I stopped drinking. I was drinking 12 years old. I was drunk. So I can relate to all that, and I try to remember all that when I talk to people, kids, and look at what I want to do to help.
Jeff, I'll tell you, buddy. We appreciate your time. I just want to say thank you. We have a ton of viewers right now on all of our social media platforms. For the people of Cincinnati and across the country and across the world right now that are watching, everybody knows who Jeff Ruby is, but they know more about you today. We know the Jeff, the guy behind the stakes. And Jeff, I'm going to tell you right now, we love our city. We love our Cincinnati Bengals. And I'll tell you what, Jeff, this city loves you, buddy. And we support you. I think James and I have hit maybe every one of your restaurants out in Cincinnati and outside of Cincinnati at some point. James, is there one left we haven't hit? I can't remember.
We got to get down to Lexington.
We got to get down to Lexington. Yeah. But, brother, it means a lot. And what you do for the city, the charities and everything, your story is very impactful to everybody. And we really appreciate being with us, buddy. We hope we can talk to you again. And we hope the Bengals get a dub this weekend. And we can talk again in the Super Bowl, buddy.
Well, I had them last week, and I got them already this week. But I love the city. The people in the city are the reason I'm successful. They've been so loyal to me, and I've been, I've made mistakes over the years, and they put up with me too. I mean, it's 40 years now. 81 is when we opened the precinct. I got here in 70 with Holiday Inn, and people, coming to my clubs then. We had all Lucy's in the Sky and all that. But the people of Cincinnati, I come from Jersey. They're good people. Cincinnati there's Boomer loved. He came from Long Island. He loved this city. He loved the people here. I've never wanted to move. I've never wanted to leave. I've had opportunities. This is the Bengals are our team, and my team, and I'm just like every fan. We own the Bengals. We all call them our Bengals, but the people here. And I'm seeing some of the comments here on the screen right now, and they're just so incredible, Yeah. And I thank you for all the kind things that you said, and I'll try to not let anybody down anymore, because you've built me up as a pretty nice guy.
What I can say is, I think I might have heard you say Joe Burrow had a steak burger before the game this past weekend. Is that what you said earlier? So
yeah, I had it on Friday night.
All right, we might need to get his ass one this weekend for the Kansas City game.
Brett, quarterback, came over and got it. They took it back to the hotel.
Got it.
Jamar texts me, how do I get steak? How do I get food? I said, well, come on in. No. We got to have it at the hotel. I said, for who? He said, Tyler, P, whoever. I don't know. Joe. They usually come with Joe. And I said, well, we're staying at the Grand Hyatt. I said, well, we can get it done, but we're short of staff. We don't have anybody. You get somebody at the Grand. You guys got 50 rooms there. You spend a ton of money. You're freaking Jamar freaking Chase. You get somebody at that Grand Hyatt to run over here, employ, and pick it up, and we'll have it for you. And it's on the house.
They made it happen.
And they picked it up and took it back to the hotel, and that's what they had. And one of them had steak burger, I think, one or two of them.
That was Joe. Yeah. Well, brother, man, it means a lot, buddy. We appreciate everything. We had a blast in Nashville, buddy. Yeah. We saw your bus. We saw everybody down there, man. And thanks again, Jeff. We love you, buddy. We really do.
Wilbur Harrison, the great song back in the days. You guys are my age, right? Going to Kansas City, here I come. I think I'm going.
All right, brother.
All right. Let's do it.
Good day, Jeff.
Thanks, guys.
Good day.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Man, I just real quick comment here, guys. You gotta love Jeff, man. He's so humble, and just the guy just worked his ass off to get where he's at today, and he gives back to the community. That's what you freaking love about people like Jeff, man. I just thought it was awesome.
I think Jeff can have his own show.
Jeff Ruby reality show. I think they tried that at one point. They were talking about it at some point.
Man,
we need to. I want to thank Jackie, who I worked with, to get Jeff on, and Jeff was so gracious when I talked to him a couple of weeks ago. We tried to get him on earlier because of the holidays. It didn't work out, so we were able to finally get him now. So thank you to Jackie and the rest of Jeff's team for making it happen. And I think there's a lot more we can talk about. He's got a lot more stories to share. So I think it'll be a great postseason guest to have back on. So
people ask me all the time when they come in town. I give them a list of places to hit: Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati. What's your budget? What are you looking at doing? And everybody says go to Ruby's, go to Ruby's. But I love Jeff Ruby's downtown. I know he's moving that location. But my favorite, will always be my favorite, is the Precinct. That is his first location. It's an awesome place. That's one of my favorite locations. And when I was like 17, he talked about changing that. The upper floor was a disco at one point. I was working as a construction person, helping out, just making some money in the summer. And I was on a construction crew that broke down the old disco at the upper floor. They made it into more of a piano bar. And I remember working on that. At the time, I couldn't afford a steak at there, but just a really cool place, a very unique place. And Jeff's awesome, man. So he's part of Cincinnati football history. I mean, he's a legend here in Cincinnati for sure. So let's move on, guys. I know we got let's talk about let's get to the Nashville game real quick, guys. And we're going to pull on I think Sean and Steve, the Nashville fan club guys that we met up with. Can we go and pull those on? What's up, guys? How you doing?
Who dey?
Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going?
You got a Jeff Ruby's down there. Have you been down there in Nashville to Jeff Ruby's place?
I've probably eaten at that Jeff Ruby Steakhouse here in Nashville 20 or 30 times.
That's right.
Well, guys, hey, let's be quick on this. I'm sorry we're a little bit behind schedule, but let's talk about, if you could, let's talk about the event that you guys put on. You guys hosted a meet and greet at the Tailgate Brewery, and just talk about what happened that night, specifically that night. It was an amazing night.
The meet and greet, yeah, it was a blast. It turned out better than we had ever imagined. We packed the place out. We had music going. They were playing "Welcome to the Jungle" and all the great Bengals hits. We were moving and grooving and drinking and just having a blast. You were there, Jim, and it was great to see you. We don't get a lot of Bengals celebrities down here in Nashville. So meeting you guys, and when Akeem Davis Gaither walked in, I didn't even put two and two together when I saw him, and then until he was walking past me and I saw he had the AKD chain, and I was like, oh my God, and then he was gone right past me. But
you guys had Kevin Walker, the ex-Bengal, Kevin Walker. You had Joe Kelly. You had some of their families there. You had everybody there. It was just a great time, and we really appreciate what you guys did, kind of putting that on. It was everybody that's watching right now couldn't make it down to Nashville. It was so packed. There's an upper floor, lower floor, and an outside patio area. It was so packed. I went in. We were there maybe half an hour. We kind of left for a little bit, went and grabbed something to eat down the street, and we came back. And guys, I'll tell you what, we were there. You guys might have, I don't even remember if you left or not, but we stayed until they closed. We were there until they closed. I think it was 11 o'clock that night, but that was a great time, and we appreciate that, putting that event on. That was a lot of fun.
And we had a blast. And I don't know if you got to see it, but out on the patio where the DJ was set up, Joe Kelly got on the mic and hyped everybody up, talked to the crowd for a little bit. That was awesome. Him telling stories about, going to the Super Bowl back in 88. And I think I led the crowd in the Bengal growl at least 3 or 4 times.
I was there for 3 of those for sure. You were killing it. So we'd like you guys to stay on with us as we talk about Nashville a little bit more here, guys. We really appreciate that. So Saturday night we had the meet and greet there at the Tailgate Brewery, which was outstanding. The staff there, just make sure that they know that they were really appreciated. They worked their asses off. They were overwhelmed. Everybody seemed to be really patient and taking care of those guys. It was awesome. So next day, guys, we go down and we have a tailgate. And guys, I have been tailgating my entire life. We've had some of the biggest tailgates here in Cincinnati. But our partnership with the Bengal Trailer, Bengal Gyms Before the War Tailgate Experience, had the biggest tailgate I have ever seen in any home or away game. I don't care. I've been to 28 different NFL cities. I have never seen this many people at a tailgate. I'm going to pop this picture up, guys. I'm going to tell you, I don't know if you can see in the middle, in the very right, you see the trailer. In the middle, back in the back, you see the Bengal bus. We were told by the parking lot folks that there was over 5,000 Bengal fans at that tailgate. We had 350 conies, 300 chicken wings. The trailer grilled out. I mean, they cooked a bunch of pork, I think, and all kinds of other stuff. I don't know how many, 6 to 8 half barrels, 15 other cases of beer that we had. Ken Anderson Day Drinking Lauder we had. That was gone in like 17 minutes. But guys, that was probably the most amazing tailgate. Now, I've been to other tailgates in other cities for other teams. Never have I seen anything like that. And I appreciate everybody showing up. The Bengals trailer and us put a lot of work into that. And the aftermath was something serious because after everybody left, there was just garbage everywhere. You can't control 5,000 people. Make sure to there was just not enough garbage cans at the end of the day. But the trailer folks were done cleaning up before we even got back to help them. And we appreciate everybody that showed up, made it a fun, safe environment there. It was amazing, an amazing time. So I just can't get over how many people showed up. Guys, then we get into the game, and let's talk about the game. Tom, I'll let you kick it off here, brother. Talk about this game here in Nashville, how amazing that was.
Who kicked it off was Jesse Bates, stepping up first play and really setting the tone defensively. We talk so much football here, and the last couple of years we've been critical of Lou Anarumo, sometimes this season as well. But he had the game plan, and I'll tell you what, with as much concern as we had for our defensive line, he had the game plan, and the guys absolutely stepped up, doing what they had to against the run, getting not shutting down the pass, but doing really well against the pass. And, of course, big key turnovers, one with Jesse Bates to start the game, Mike Hilton to prevent a score, and then, the big monster one at the end of the game that ended up giving us the win.
Hey, Sean, let me ask you this, buddy. I mean, you were at the game. You did go to the game. So how was it to be in a stadium with all those Bengal fans? I mean, you guys had to be on cloud nine just being around all these Bengal fans.
Man, so it was awesome. But I have to tell you, I actually went. My wife is a Titans fan, and we went with a couple of our friends that are locals here in Nashville that are Titans fans. And it was amazing because I had Bengals fans to my front, Bengals fans to behind me, and we kept going back and forth. It was a lot of fun, and especially after the win. My friends, they left without saying goodbye. So
your old friends.
So Steve, Sean, James, and I were in attendance there. James, give us your thoughts real quick. But I know we were hugging and almost crying. It was just nuts.
It was, started with the tailgate as we talked about, but getting into the stadium, as Tom said, from that first play where we intercepted the ball, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we ever trailed that game. Certainly got a little nervous in the end, but going into it, there was concerns about the D line, but man, they stepped up big time. Despite the 9 sacks, Joe Burrow, Joey Franchise, whatever you want to call him, and hey, a lot of people question this defense. Last year with Lou, this year, with the injuries, but man, they stepped up, kept us in the game, and the person we're not talking about, the person whose jerseys are sold out at the pro shop, the people that laughed when we drafted him in the 5th round, Shooter McPherson. I mean, just money. So it was fun. Nashville is one of my top 3 cities in America. You don't even have to give me an excuse to go there. I'll go and hang out. But when the Bengals play there and then the Bengals win, it's just icing on the cake.
Yeah, right.
Obviously not being there, but watching on TV from home, what was really surprising to me was how big of a deal the Titans made of Derrick Henry's return. It was almost like it was the second coming. This guy comes out, we hold him to 68 yards total, and I just felt watching the game, I feel like Tennessee felt they had to give him the ball when they have a quite capable, maybe arguably, I won't say better, but the guy had stepped up when Henry was out. And I just feel like they forced the ball to Henry so much, which gave us a chance to win. And like James was saying, that when Tennessee's driving on the field at the end of the game, we've been Bengals fans long enough to just go, hey, it was a great run. It was good that we got here, but it's coming. They're going to go down and kick the field goal with no time left on the clock, and it's going to be game over. and then that interception at the end of the game. It's like I can't even imagine what it was like in there for Bengals fans at the game when they picked that off with like a minute 23 left.
Yeah. Look at Steve. He's still got a smile on his damn face. Look at that.
You knew as soon as we got the interception, we were going to win the game.
The one thing is Tennessee tried to limit Bengals fans into the stadium with the ticket resale, but I'll tell you what, as Bengals fans have been so on top of things all year, that you looked up at that 300 level, it was just as much orange, if not more orange, than any blue. Certainly scattered throughout the lower level. And we were sitting behind the Tennessee bench, and you could hear Houday chants as plain as day. I don't know what it sounded like on TV, but the Houday chants when we had things going for us were loud.
I commented on the Bengals social media, and my phone's been going off ever since I made the comment, but I wrote, I'm just glad that Randy Bullock had to sit on the other sideline and watch Money Matt kick that game winning field goal. It's got like 5,000 likes. People keep blowing up, and the chat's also going crazy saying, thank God Fat Randy didn't beat us.
All right, so Steve, last question on this. Are you guys watching the game down in Nashville, or are you guys heading up to Kansas City at all?
I'll be watching here in Nashville. I think Sean's actually going to make his way to Kansas City, so you two might be able to connect again.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be watching at our home base, Tailgate Brewery Music Row, filling that place up again.
Yeah. Well, guys, hey, look, man, we really appreciate it. We can't thank you enough. We wanted to come on. We wanted everybody to see you. There's a lot of folks in the viewing right now that recognize you from Saturday night. There's some people that know who you are. I didn't get a chance to see you, but brother, we thank you guys so much for everything you do. And Saturday night was just absolutely amazing. We appreciate it, man. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's do it again
next year.
Next season. Come on back. I'm looking forward to a regular season hosting you guys again.
Yeah, we should have put you guys on the Bengal bus. We had a bus on the people driving down Broadway after the game. It was great.
Awesome. That must have been fantastic.
Guys, we'll see you, man. Thank you. Appreciate
thank you.
Houday. They worked their asses off on that event, man. That was a good time.
It looked amazing.
It was, and the post game on Broadway at the stage, I think it was 90% Bengals fans at the stage there listening to country music. So that was great, and awesome ride home, seeing all the Bengals flags and paint on the cars and honking the horns. And you guys had that on the parade on the way down, and it's just as much fun on the way back.
The bandwagon extends from the Cincinnati tri-state area.
Yeah, it's funny. James and Brandon, who we hang out with a lot, Brandon from Portsmouth, had the biggest smile on their faces at the stage. They got to hear some country music. They were all excited about it. I'm sitting there just drinking. I'm like, oh, good grief.
Your dog died. Your girlfriend left you. We get it.
He wasn't sitting. He was over there signing autographs, taking pictures. The usual Bengal James.
Like James said, man, Nashville is one of my favorite cities as well. So it's good stuff. So a couple other things we want to share here before we want to talk about the Kansas City game, guys. We have a special guest at the tailgate coming up here in Kansas City, and we're getting ready to make an announcement tomorrow. Greg and Rick from the trailer, we've been talking to them off and on for the past couple of days. We're getting close to making that announcement. We have a special guest, his first road trip of his life. He's really added to the tailgate, and Big Burrow was going to be making the trip, guys, to Kansas City. James, how's he going to get there? Is he going to fly? Is he going to drive?
Well, what we did is we have a chartered custom bus, courtesy of our buddy TJ at GCI Digital. So we're going to gently lay him out inside the big 53-foot bus. He's going to be nice and comfortable. We're going to feed him some Gold Star Skyline on the way. Jamie, can you shut your cat up?
His cat's in heat again.
So TJ's from GCI Digital is going to be so gracious to bring him there. He's going to kind of replace the Bengal bus this weekend when we team up with the Bengal trailer. And he's, as you said, he's going to make his first road trip. It was his dad, Craig Johnson, as we know from Cincy Beer Fest, was a little bit nervous letting him out of his sight. I don't think Craig's let him out of his sight since he brought him home from the hospital in December. So this is going to be a first. There might be some separation anxiety, but he is going to make his first road trip. So Bengals fans will be able to see from far and wide where we're tailgating, which we're going to announce hopefully tomorrow, right, Jim?
Probably likely tomorrow. We got a spot. We just
Yeah.
have to make it official, but it's happening tomorrow.
So we'll announce that. We've been getting a lot of questions, DMs, text, emails about Saturday night. There will be a Saturday night pre-party, much like was in Nashville. So stay tuned for the details on that. And then above and beyond that, we have some special food going to be there. Jimmy,
Yeah, man. I tell you what, man. I have some relationships that have some connections in Kansas City, and I am being told some of the best Kansas City barbecue we will have at the tailgate. Mitch Meats, and I'm going to tell you, if you can look this up on social media, look at videos. This guy serves stars all across the country. Served at the All-Star game. This guy is giving us enough meat. He's given us burnt ends, and he's given us a boatload of pulled pork, enough Kansas City barbecue to feed about 300 people. So go online and look at Mitch, Meet Mitch. This guy is the top barbecue guy in Kansas City. So we're gonna have not only Kansas City barbecue, but we can't just do Kansas City. Just talk to the owner of Camp Washington Chili. They're donating 200 cheese conies for us this weekend as well. So we got a little bitty. Have a coney in one hand and some Kansas City barbecue in the other. We got that ready to roll, and very looking forward to seeing you guys. Again, I don't know what kind of crowd we're going to have. I don't think it's going to be as massive as it was in Nashville, but I know there's an awful lot of people heading to Kansas City. Stay tuned tomorrow. There should be an announcement on a Saturday night get together, and then the tailgate official announcement from the tailgate as well. So the Bengals trailer and us are working together again, just like we did down in Nashville on that. The other thing we'll be doing at the tail. Go ahead, James. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to touch on the fundraising.
Yep, go ahead. That's where I was going to hit.
The last playoff game off. So those in attendance are going to have the opportunity to win this autographed T. Higgins helmet. We're going to continue the donations for Cystic Fibrosis Boomers Foundation. So we're going to give Tony and Carrie a break. Come see me. We'll have the raffle tickets. Somebody's going to take that home. If you're not able to make it to Kansas City, you want to make a donation, we'll be able to do that. You can take a screenshot, text me. We'll still draw a winner and make you eligible for that. So that's a pretty cool concept helmet there, courtesy of our buddies at Bengal Bids. And we're going to raffle off Sunday at the tailgate again with 100% of the proceeds to go to the Boomer Esiason Foundation. And where are we at right now, Jimmy?
There we are.
$48,905.
So close.
And
So
65 cents. So before we go to LA in a couple of weeks, we need to hit that $50,000 mark. And along those lines, we had a Ken Anderson Alliance donation last Thursday from the event at our buddy Dell's at 16 Lots. So thank you to all those that donated. And then we had a pair of tickets that were generously donated from somebody that doesn't want to be mentioned. $1,000 was raised for the Free Store Food Bank, a big Cincinnati Bengals sponsor. So there you see our total, and hell or high water, we're going to hit 50,000.
Yeah, I think we're easily going to push over that 50, especially with this. This is not a mini helmet, guys. This is a full-size concept helmet here. This is that's T. Higgins autograph there. Very cool. So we're going to blow through that. Will actually be in attendance at the tailgate this Sunday in Kansas City. So look forward to seeing everybody there. Guys, and the last thing we'll talk about here as far as the charities are concerned, just want to give Monty's House is a charity that we've worked on a few times throughout the year. Local newscaster, weather guy, Steve Raleigh, and his wife actually run Monty's House. So there's an event on February 18th. We already have a table of 10 already reserved. Marvin Lewis is going to be there in town helping raise money for Monty's House. So take a look at it. It's on our social media platforms. It is on Monty's House Facebook page, Twitter, and their Instagram page as well. But Marvin Lewis coming back to town to sit here and talk to Bengal fans is going to be a lot of fun as well, guys. So let's kind of go ahead, James. Is there anything else we want to hit on here before we close out?
No, I think we covered it all. Again, we've been getting bombarded with the tailgate info. Jamie, please.
I didn't you put it up.
No, I didn't.
It was me.
Oh, no.
It was me.
Oh, you put it up. I was saving that for my wrap up, but that's
my bad. We'll go back. Just don't
yes.
you didn't see. Act like you didn't see that, guys. My bad.
So stay tuned. Again,
right.
we have a tailgate spot that's going to be within walking distance of the stadium, much like we had in Nashville. for Sunday, and then Saturday night we will announce the pregame special, hopefully 5 to 8, 5 to 9, something like that, on Saturday night in the establishment in Kansas City. So be patient. Again, we appreciate it. I know people are flying in from all over the country to partake in this, and actually all over the world. We've got DMs on that as well. So we'll look forward to it. It's going to be a fun weekend. And as soon as we can get that announcement out, we'll certainly do it so everybody knows where they can be Saturday and Sunday.
Yep. All right, guys, let's go ahead and close this. Let's kind of close and make some closing comments, however you want. But also in your closing comment, guys, let's talk about this Kansas City game a little bit in our closing. Go ahead, Tom, if you could start us off, buddy.
I'll start us off by going back a little bit. Great win in the history of the franchise. First happy plane ride home from a playoff game in the Bengals history. So it's so many contributions. Tyler Shelvin, who we haven't heard a lot from this year, doing a great job during his snaps, helping shut down that running game, taking up 2 and 3 blockers. But, again, after those turnovers and the great job by the defense, it was number 9 throwing an absolute dime to Jamar Chase, who was in double coverage. It didn't look like he was, at least at first, but he was double covered on that play. The pass was that perfect, and the route was that perfect to let Evan McPherson, Shooter McPherson, be the hero. It's a tall order this weekend. I mean, you don't get to the Final Four of the NFL playing for the right to go to the Super Bowl, for nothing. Kansas City's a powerful team. They'd be one of the few teams in the history of the league to go to 3 consecutive Super Bowls. They also have an elite star quarterback that you got to shut down, a future Hall of Fame tight end. I mean, they're complete. But one thing we said at the beginning of the year, and other than Jimmy, who I believe picked him to be 17-0,
I was close.
Nobody else.
Closer than the rest of us.
Yeah, closer than the rest of us. One thing we did agree upon, this team doesn't need to be afraid to play anybody. And I don't think they are. They don't carry themselves that way. No matter what happens, I think this team probably rivals the 81 and the 88 team, and they may already be the most popular single-year team in the history of the franchise. They're not afraid of Kansas City. There's no reason in the world to expect them not to go out there, punch the Chiefs right in the eye, and having us all Sunday night and Monday morning figuring out how we're going to Los Angeles. So I'm looking forward to it. You guys have fun that are going out there. Jamie and I'll stay here, guard the studio.
Yep.
And, no, they're ready for it. They're hyped for it. They don't seem scared. And I look for them to go ahead and win it and move on to Los Angeles. And speaking of Kansas City, let's go to Jackson.
All right. Well, okay. Couple. Nice. Thank you. So a couple things I'll say. We are right where I think we want to be in terms of all the experts. Again, this week are picking us as the 4th team for a chance to win the Super Bowl, and there's only 4 teams left. So I think next week when we win, you're going to have a split decision. We're going to see some people coming over into the Bengals side, but I'm happy to be that underdog team all the way. And I think what Joe was saying in his press conference after the game is, he's sick of that underdog narrative, and they're just going to go out there and prove that they belong to be here. Now, the other thing I want to say, and I'm sorry, Jimmy gave away my outro by putting up this picture. So if you are easily offended, turn away. I just want to show you, we're not just want to beat Kansas City because we want to advance the Super Bowl. By beating Kansas City, we also beat this. Guys, please, this needs to stop. We need to, if we win on Sunday, that it's over. This guy is gone, and Brittany, whoever his name, she's gone for another year. Let's just end this.
Jamie,
Yeah.
Was that a cam girl you just put on?
You said it. The FCC called this week, man. We got to stop this. We're gonna get in trouble.
That was 2 weeks ago. That was 2 weeks
ago. My bad.
I got an email from 3 different clergy after that episode.
In all seriousness,
Clean it up, Jackson.
In all seriousness, though, we beat this team 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. We know we can beat them. It's going to be a much different game, obviously, being in Kansas City and with so much on the line. But everyone that's doubted this team, every week they go in and show them not to doubt us. So I'm hoping that we're back here next Tuesday with no Jackson Mahomes videos. And I also want to give a shout out also to Damien too, who said earlier that oh, wait a minute.
There you go.
Let me drive the Hummer 100 miles. I'll get you across Kansas City. Anyway, James, to you.
Oh, you guys got this pointing.
Well,
down.
I know how to point down.
Down, yeah.
My
I was
left
trying
and
to
right
figure
side.
out after to point to Jimmy here. I was angling myself.
Brady
Jamie, you'll
bunch.
appreciate this. So when the playoffs started, I haven't shaved. I know it's kind of getting there. So like playoff hockey players, they don't shave till it's over. So that's the rule. So February, whatever it is, 15th, 16th, hopefully I'll be able to shave and not until then. So I got the playoff beard going. To recap, Nashville was a blast. Look forward to just as much fun in Kansas City. So many people are going. Some are just going to come tailgate and then watch the game after. They don't have tickets yet. If you're thinking about it, come. Nissan Stadium knew that Bengals fans were there. It was loud. You could hear the Who Dey chants. Let's do the same thing in Kansas City this weekend. But I think we all watched that game Sunday night between the Bills and the Chiefs, and we saw two great quarterbacks. Well, guess what? I'll put our quarterback right up there with him and think Joe can do everything those guys can do and then some. So he's got the leadership. We saw him get sacked 9 times, stand in the pocket, do what he needed to do, and take us down to that winning drive so Shooter could kick it. So excited. Look forward to seeing everybody in Kansas City this weekend, and let's make Arrowhead loud. And hopefully this time, 1 week from today, we're talking about headed to LA and representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. Jimmy?
Can you imagine?
Nashville, we can't say enough about it. Just one of the most amazing road trips I've ever been on, guys. It was just, you guys made that just an awesome time. The win capped that off. Thanks again for the charities we raised. The gentleman that bought those tickets for $1,000 that we put towards the charity, and then another, I think, $600 something we raised with the Ken Anderson Alliance that night at 16 lots. We appreciate everybody. We're gonna blow through that $50,000 number here this Sunday at the tailgate. Also, want to just keep our thoughts and prayers right now. Keep Tony and Carrie. They're dealing with some issues with some family members right now, so everybody just keep Tony and Carrie in their thoughts and prayers right now. Just keep thinking about them. I know they're dealing with a lot of different things right now. And talking, about Kansas City, guys, we bought our tickets as we were walking out of the stadium Saturday down in Nashville. Saved ourselves $300 or $400 by doing that because we took a chance on Kansas City winning. But guys, nobody's picking the Cincinnati Bengals to win. None of the national media is picking the Cincinnati Bengals to win. What they forget is that we did beat them here in Cincinnati, and we played awful that first half. We had to come back in that second half to get that win. And what I'm going to tell you, I like this matchup. I like the Bengals offense against this Kansas City defense. I think it's a defense we can score a lot of points on. And I like our defense because it's going unnoticed and untalked about. Our defense is tough, gritty. They play hard. DJ Reader has been a beast on that defensive line. The linebackers are playing well. Our secondary is playing well. We got to be able to continue to play well, get some turnovers here this weekend. And one of the last two things I want to talk about, it is amazing to me. If you remember that 2015 team in the playoffs, all year, if something went bad, we let things snowball and just get worse. This coaching staff and these players don't let that happen. You give up 9 sacks and you win a football game. If you watch Joe Burrow after every sack that he had, got up, moved on, it was next play. Let's go. Let's make it up on the next play. There was no slamming the ball down, turn around, and
wasn't
making
staring at anybody. Wasn't staring at the players.
It's just,
the thing of it is, though, it didn't affect his play at all.
No, 9 sacks, and he just moves on to the next play. So
can we all agree, though, next year, let's not have that happen anymore?
Yeah, we're going to talk.
But the one thing we've been talking about since the game, sorry, Jimmy, I know it's your wrap-up time.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
As bad as the line has been, the 9 sacks is not all on the line, right?
No,
it's
I
not
agree.
all on the line.
I don't know how many of them.
It has to be better.
I mean, there was a couple more sacks that got, because of penalties, got called back. But But guys, it's just fun to watch this team. They just seem to find a way. No matter what it takes, they need to find a way, and they always seem to do it. And that is 100% credit to this coaching staff, the culture, and the players they have on this team making it happen. And guys, I don't know if they're going to win Sunday. Obviously, it would be just as crazy. Tom, you said earlier this year, many times, you and I both say it, there's nothing that brings this city together like the Bengals when they're winning, and especially when they're making a playoff run. I am so excited to see people get to experience what I experienced in 81 and 88. This city is out of freaking control. I was told by several news media outlets that they can't get enough Bengal coverage. Anything Bengals, the ratings are going through the roof. They literally, one of the news stations told me that they're preparing, if the Bengals win this Sunday, they're going to have a whole production crew focused 100% every day on Bengal stories. This city, as crazy as it is today, guys, you just wait. When we win Sunday, we got 2 weeks of absolute madness in it. Bengal Mania
dressed like this, pumping gas. People are screaming "Hooday!" Everybody's smiling. I mean, you go to the game. Doesn't matter your race. Doesn't matter your political beliefs. It transcends all that. Everybody is together on this. And it isn't just going to be for this year. I have a feeling this is going to be for a football generation, with the core, keeping the core of this team together. It's fantastic what it's been, and it's only going to get better.
I said this to you a couple weeks ago. It is, as silly as this sounds, the fact that you were chosen fan of the year this year and got tickets to the Super Bowl, and we're 1 win away from the Super Bowl. They're going to the Super Bowl, dude. I honestly feel like this is some kind of weird destiny thing. I don't know.
Well, hey guys, look, I don't know what's going to happen here Sunday. This team has been an underdog all year, and somehow they find a way to make things work to get a W. Today, I got an email from the NFL. I got my Super Bowl tickets. Guys, this is really starting to hit home with me, especially today when I opened that up and I was like, oh my gosh, I my Super Bowl tickets. Guys, that's all I had. I just want to say that, to the Cincinnati Bengals, look, guys, keep fighting your ass off. We're going to be there supporting you, whether we're there at Kansas City supporting you or watch parties here in Cincinnati or anywhere in the world. We're going to be there for you. And I cannot wait till this Sunday. We will find a way to make this happen Sunday, guys. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. We appreciate it. Thank you, Jeff Ruby. Thanks, Nashville Fan Club. We love you guys. We will see you guys next week. Hooday.
Hooday.